Hello everyone, this video was supposed to be made a long time ago. I didn't have the time for it because I went on vacation, but that is fine because today we will be testing out my shiny Registeel with buffed Flash Cannon. And so in the first game, I forgot what lead we have, but anyways, we have Florges into Fortress right here, and this is not the best,
but also at the same time not the worst. We are really getting them debuffed a lot with these spammy chilling waters, but they are resisting our fairy wind damage. And so I'm actually fine with staying in here. I'm now able to fire off another chilling water, which will get them down to -3 attack, which allows me to survive probably a Sand Tomb, because Florges is not the bulkiest. So Sand Tomb connects. And can we reach another move? No, we cannot, unfortunately. And I think we're going to send in Mimikyu. Mimikyu is going to be able to grab that farm down, grab a lot of energy, but not before we get debuffed by a Sand Tomb. I'm going to shield this up. I don't want my disguise to be broken this soon. And we're going to be able to grab that one shield farm down. In comes the Salamence, and this is quite awkward because Salamence, it's spammy, and it has a lot of usually fast move pressure. It does have a lot of charge move pressure, but we triple resist Dragon Tails. Now we're going to switch into Registeel, and we're going to be single resisting them, and they're going to switch out into Whiscash. Shadow Whiscash is able to fire off Mud Bomb. This does quite a bit of damage, and they can reach another one before we get to the move. At this point, I'm going to invest everything into my Mimikyu, and so I'm going to no-shield my Registeel. We do have a kind of a 2-shield advantage with our shield and our disguise, and we're able to fire off Play Rough into the Shadow Whiscash. Whiscash is now low, and I think I can go for a farm down. I'm gonna no-shield this because we can double resist those Dragon Tails, and so it's not really a big problem. Here, Salamence can fire off a move, but we still do have a shield, and we can shield up Brutal Swing. We can overfarm and go for the Shadow Sneak. There's still a Pokemon behind. That's going to be that Whiscash from earlier, but still on just one Shadow Claw range, so my opponent will resign the match. Alright, we're going into the next battle, leading Registeel into Shadow Charizard. Very bad lead. Safe swap into Florges, and we're able to output one Killing Water. At least before they swap, I think. I'm not sure if they're going to swap or not. They're not going to swap. They're probably going to full send Blast Burn here. No, they're Air Cutter baiting. Absolutely fine by me. We're able to reach another Chilling Water before they get to a potential Blast Burn. So Chilling Water is going to be shielded, gets a debuff, and I think at this point, I'm just going to let this go. It's Overheat. They're on Overheat, which is quite special. Never seen an Overheat Charizard, and now they switch into Licky Licky. I'm going to be able to fire off a last second Chilling Water before I go down to the rollout damage, and in comes Registeel. This is an amazing matchup if they're not on Earthquake, which I do not think they're on, because they're just sending the Shadow Balls at 4 rollouts. They're not even trying to bait. Body Slam connects, that's fine. That does absolutely 0 damage, and I'm going to farm up to 100 energy and full send the Focus Blast. They do not have a shield. Focus Blast connects, and it picks up the knockout. Back in comes the Shadow Zard. Shadow Zard is going to be met with a Flash Cannon to the face. Flash Cannon, will it do a lot of damage? Will it pick up the knockout? Let's see. It will barely miss the knockout, but a Mimikyu Snipe should do it. So we're going to no-shield this. Air Cutter grabs our disguise. That is absolutely fine. In the back, it's another Mimikyu, and we are kind of ahead on energy. Shadow Sneak. This will break the disguise. So there we go. Disguise broken. And can we reach another one? If we can reach another one, this will be an easy game win. Yes, we can. Rank 90 something, Mimikyu barely hangs on, reaches the Shadow Sneak, picks up the knockout, and that's game win. Alright, we're going into the next battle, leading Registeel into Primeape, safe swap into Florges. We have 2 good answers in the bag. Opponent sends in Shadow Fortress. Shadow Fortress, again, is able to wall all of our fast move pressure, but we can debuff them with Chilling Water. Chilling Water, number 1, is able to connect, and we will be shielding up this Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb does get the debuff, but we are able to reach another Chilling Water before they get to another move. Chilling Water will get them into a range where the next Chilling Water might knock out, so it might grab a shield. Yes, it does. That's absolutely fine. I can no shield this now. They're at -3. This is not going to do a lot of damage. Rock Tomb connects. It gets us low, but doesn't quite pick up the knockout. They're able to go for a move here. This is just Sand Tomb. It does pick up the knockout, but they are now energy dry. I'm now going to send in my Mimikyu and hopefully go for a full farm down. I am able to get the farm down, and in comes Primeape. Primeape is able to reach Rage Fist, and I will no shield this. Just let my disguise block the move. Here I'm going to look to overfarm in case they no shield the move and go for Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak is going to pressure them into shielding, and now they're all shields down. They're at the move here, and I'm going to shield this up. Rage Fist can easily knock out from this range, and I'll go for Shadow Sneak 1 before they get to the next Rage Fist. Shadow Sneak is going to land. It is going to pick up the knockout from this range. My opponent will reveal their final Pokemon, and it's going to be a Hex Mimikyu. I do experience some lag, which will cause my Mimikyu to be knocked out by Shadow Sneak, but I do still have a full health Registeel, and as long as I don't lag again, there's no way my opponent can win here. So, my opponent fires off Shadow Sneak here. Shadow Sneak connects. It gets us to 2/3 of our max HP. That's absolutely fine. I farm up to 100 energy, go for the Flash Cannon. This will break the disguise. And even if Mimikyu launches another move here, we can still win. We go for the Flash Cannon instantly as we get it. It's a CMP, we lose CMP, but Registeel can pretty comfortably survive the Shadow Sneak. Flash Cannon will easily pick up the knockout against this debuffed Mimikyu, and that's GG's. Okay, so into the next match, a really bad lead. Registeel into Rapidash. My opponent does lag quite a bit, and I'm going to send in Florges. Florges is going to be able to output some super effective damage with Chilling Water. My opponent's going to safe swap into Mantine. I'm looking to debuff with the Chilling Water here, just so I can tank their moves and their wing attacks more comfortably, and go for the Disarming Voice spam. I'm going to no-shield this move here. This is a Water Pulse. It gets us pretty low, but we are able to reach 2 Disarming Voices before they pick up the knockout. All thanks to that Chilling Water debuff that I did right in the beginning of this matchup. So, Chilling Water number 2 will pick up the knockout, and what's gonna come in, it's gonna be the Rapidash, and once again my opponent lags, or I think I lagged there, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna bring in Mimikyu here. Mimikyu is gonna want to shield this. I don't want to get that debuff early on in this matchup, because Rapidash is a very fast move heavy mon. So, I am able to now farm up a lot of energy. My opponent can go for the move. Drill Run will be kind of shielded by the disguise, and I'm going to go for 2 Shadow Claws and then Shadow Sneak on good timing. Shadow Sneak is going to be shielded, and in comes a Kingdra. No messing around here, going straight for that Play Rough. Play Rough is going to be no shielded. It one-shots the Kingdra. Back in comes Rapidash, and there's just no chance of them winning here. Alright, going into the next battle, we're going to be leading Registeel into Gastrodon, instant safe swap into Florges, and we're going to be able to fire off Chilling Water. Chilling Water is going to be able to debuff and force them to switch out. They're going to fire off a move, which is a -1 move. It's Body Slam, and it doesn't do that much. In comes a Murkrow. It's a Shadow Murkrow, and we are able to outpace because they threw the move, and we got that extra Fairy Wind through. Chilling Water lands, and it gets them into Fairy Wind down range. We're going to shield this up. This is easily going to pick up the knockout, and we don't want that. So we're going to shield up and farm down. In comes Gastrodon. I'm going to be able to make this Chilling Water. Chilling Water is going to land, or no, it's going to get shielded. That's absolutely fine. It still gets the debuff, and I'm going to switch into Mimikyu. Mimikyu is going to be met with a Body Slam here. I'm just gonna let this go. Gastrodon doesn't have that much fast move pressure as I expected. That is absolutely fine. I'm gonna farm up, go for the Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak will get them very low into Shadow Claw range, probably with a shield though. So I'm gonna shield this up and hopefully get the farm down. Earth Power is shielded. In comes their final Pokemon being Mandibuzz, and I'm gonna go for a Play Rough, get them low, and then switch into my Registeel. So Play Rough is going to connect. Registeel comes in. We are able to reach the Flash Cannon before they get to move, but we overfarm and they can throw the move. It's fine. We tank these because Mandibuzz is quite a bulky Pokemon. Doesn't have that much attack, and Registeel is also a bulky Pokemon, so it can tank those attacks very well. I undercharge the Flash Cannon, hoping for a lock-on farm down, and I think we're gonna get it. Foul Play connects. That's absolutely fine. We're going to lock on farm down. In comes the Gastrodon. I'm going to go for the overkill. Focus Blast is easily going to pick up the knockout at this point, and that's GG's.
Alright, in the next battle, we're going to be leading Registeel into Cradily. Amazing lead. They're not switching out for some reason. Also, they're Bullet Seed Cradily, not Acid, so they do slightly better than Acid Cradily in this matchup, but still absolutely terrible. I'm going to fire off Flash Cannon here. Flash Cannon, will it be shielded? They should shield this, I think. No, they do not. It deals huge damage. They're now on around a third of their max HP, and they're going to be able to fire off another Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb's going to connect. I'm never going to shield those, and I'm going to go for another Flash Cannon. And I do excellently throw one more lock on there, so that was kind of bad timing. But it's fine because they get knocked out, and in comes a Kecleon. Kecleon does have access to Dynamic Punch, which can deal super effective damage into Registeel. I'm going to go for Focus Blast. Focus Blast connects, it deals huge damage. They're now at 1/3 of their max HP as well, and they can knock out my Registeel. I don't mind. I'm going to come in with Florges, tank those Sucker Punches, and force them to only throw Thunder Punches. Kecleon is a Pokemon that got double buffed this season, gaining access to both Thunder Punch and Dynamic Punch. In comes Shadow Girafarig. I'm going to go for the debuff with the Chilling Water. Chilling Water, will it connect? Yes, it will. And I'm going to be able to go for another one here. This is probably going to get shielded. They don't want to lose their Girafarig this fast after sending it in. And I'm going to switch into Mimikyu. My opponent is able to reach the Psychic Fangs. I will shield this up because if it lands, it will double debuff me, and Girafarig does have a lot of fast move pressure, and I really don't want that fast move pressure to get onto my Mimikyu. So, I'm going to let that go there. That was the second Psychic Fang, so I'm fine. I'm going to go for the Shadow Sneak on the CMP. Shadow Sneak, will it be shielded? Yes, it will for some reason. And amazing. I'm going to shield this up, and I'm going to be able to go for farm down here. So, farm down is successful. I'm just going to go for the Shadows. Oh, okay, they just quit, and that's amazing. That's GG's. I think we can see here that Registeel is a pretty good mon, especially after the buff. It doesn't need to run Legacy Zap Cannon, so it's become a lot cheaper. You don't need that Elite Charge TM or a poor IV Registeel from the past events. And I think it's really good, except for the fact that it has a 1 damage fast move, which kind of doesn't allow it to farm down that easily. I mean, it's kind of like farming down a Licky with Astonish. It's really terrible. But in general, I think it's insane pacing to absolutely devastating moves like Focus Blast. And Flash Cannons in 6.5 seconds is absolutely insane. I do think it has potential here. It has been a really good Pokemon in the past, in the first few seasons of GBL, and right now it's still really good. It's extremely bulky and it tanks moves so well, and it just has so many dominant matchups into Cradily and Polion and a lot of other stuff. And that kind of sums it up for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.